if you look at this brown one here and this green one here, I really have almost no difference between the two other than this one died and this one's still green. Other than that, I don't know the difference. Which leads me to this experiment that we're conducting today. Welcome back to the Abundant Harvest Homestead. I'm Papa Pepper. I've got a cool experiment with some stuff I've been filming now for almost 7 months on this particular subject, and to me it absolutely thrills me because it's such an easy way to apparently, possibly, get free plants from something I was gonna lose. And this is exciting because this is what I'm into. I like plant propagation, I like growing food, I like eating food and having it from a trustworthy source like my own garden. Check this out. You know, a lot of my life is an experiment, and I like seeing what's possible, so I conduct a lot of experiments. At the moment, I just put a whole bunch of seeds from the trifoliate citrus in a bunch of little pots in the soil under my 2 trifoliate citrus trees. Then I'm also doing some pruning. I got 2 reasons for pruning. Number 1, these things are pokey and sticking out into the paths, so I wanted to do some stuff pruning back anyway. But I also wanted to take some of these, okay, that are suckers. I mean, it's a branch coming off low above the ground. I wouldn't really call it a sucker. But in times past, I've taken a pot. Now this one's homemade. I just took the bottom of a vinegar container, cut a couple flaps in there in a hole, and if I take the stuff I left at the top, I prune this back quite a bit. And if I kind of squish that all together, I'm thinking I can keep some branches at the top and get this, I think I can, to go all the way through. Yeah, a little more. Once I get past this point, ouch. And there we go. Now I can slide it all the way down. And when it gets down there, what I'm going to do is just put soil on there. Put soil down in this pot and berm it up with some wood mulch. And my guess is that by at least mid-spring next year, this will have roots from this one above the soil in this pot. I've done it before, and I've got another one on the other tree. I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'll have a whole new tree off of a low-lying branch that I didn't really need there. A low-lying branch grew right back on the other tree where I took the previous one off. So I'm going to snip this a little bit, make it fit really good, do that, and then just let it sit here. It's connected to the main tree, so it's getting its power from the main tree. And then it's in soil, and I just did some pruning. So when you prune, it has a wound that it needs to heal. As that wound starts healing, sometimes if the wound's at a node, like where I cut off one of the branches, it has the technology in there to grow a branch, a root, a bud, you know, a flower. There's all sorts of different options, and if it's under the soil, then it's getting more likely to grow a root, and as it heals, to start actually putting out some roots in that area so that it can become established in that pot. And because the pot is not going to be air layered, you know, sitting up here somewhere, it's going to be ground contact. It should be able to keep the moisture in it even more. Now while I'm doing that, I got some of these guys, which is like a branch that I pruned off of here. This one actually came from right here. And I couldn't keep it to go through that pot, but I'm going to see if I can't maybe put a little rooting hormone on here, go to my Ozarks hugel mound, bury this as deep as I possibly can. It's early November right now, and then see if it doesn't actually establish some roots. And if it does, then I'm going to try to pull it up with those roots, plant it somewhere I want it, and have a new plant just from a cutting. I have an apple tree growing right now. When I did my spring pruning, I took a 5-gallon bucket with some soil, and I just put a bunch of cuttings of apples in there. Now they all died except for one, and that one's alive right now. So the possibility exists. I'm just going to see and test, because I'd rather not just throw this away and have this be worthless if I can get, you know, a 2.5-foot tree out of it. So we're going to find out. That pruning back serves two purposes too, because now not only do I have this long stem to put in the ground to potentially get roots from, but also there's less foliage and branches for it to support because it has no connection. It's going to be running off its reserves, whatever's contained in this tree, for a little bit to keep it alive in this little branch, but it won't have all sorts of branches with no roots, no support system, so this should help. It is now over half a year later. It was November 7th when I uploaded that video as a members only video to kind of store the beginning of this experiment. And I mentioned I'd been planting some. Okay, those ones worked. You know, this is the traditional method. You take your seeds and you plant them, right? We got that. Now here's that one I put in a pot. And I didn't really keep it as bermed up as I wanted to because I had all the little seedlings growing right around it. So I'm going to kind of keep that covered, berm it up now that I got a bunch of mulch, and give it some more time. And under this other tree, I did do the same thing. You see the branch coming out from in the pot? I'm going to wait till I see the roots going in it and pack a little more around it. But the cool thing about that one is the tip of it is probably 8 feet in the air. So I'll start off with an 8-foot tall tree, which is awesome. And that particular layering method may seem a little interesting to some. I've got an apple, I've done that too. The parent tree is still over there. The other one got moved out to one of my pastures, hopefully for some pasture orchard. But I did it with the trifoliate before successfully too. And this one here by my garden pond, it's this tall right now, growing out. But this whole bushy thing is just a clone I created from layering, just like those ones in pots I'm doing now. And then this particular apple tree, yep, trust me, it's an apple tree. You'll know them by their fruits. Is the one that I pruned off before, and then shoved some of the prunings just with some rooting hormone into soil. This one is the one from 2 years ago now. Well, from early last year. It's on its 2nd year of life, all on its own. And since I've got to prune back those trees anyway and kind of keep the form and the growth that I want, since I'm going to lose those sticks if I do nothing, all my trimmings, all my prunings, they're not going to be good for anything if I just throw them on the ground. Well, I can use them for fire, I could use them for smoking, I could use them, chip them, use them as a wood mulch, bury them in a hugel mound. I'm not saying they're worthless, but they were going to dry and die and cease to be a plant, right? So this year when I did it, I had 2 rounds that I pruned off and tried the same thing. Now this one still has 2 that are looking really good in here. This one and that one there. Last year I did that, we only got that 1. So I'm happy with that. This is looking good so far. And then this was a second batch that I decided to do as well. They're all going here, we'll see what happens. But with it being the end of May now, almost into June. And with that video being uploaded on November 7th, we're almost 7 months since I stuck these ones in these pots. And it is very interesting to look at the results here. So I think that first one I was pruning back in the video may have been this guy. See how nice and tall it is? That's probably standing 32, 34 inches off the ground. Coming all the way down here, and the whole thing looks like it died. So again, in the beginning of November, I just stuck these sticks in here. A number of these look like they died, and then a number of them are still green. This one actually started getting new growth, and that was the only new growth I seen. When it was like spring and starting warming up in maybe March or so, everything was still completely green here. They were all completely green, but then they just started dying back. So there's quite a few of them that look like they're completely dead. Nothing to them. Look at this guy though. He's still got some hope here. And even this guy. This guy, apparently, all of it died back except for where it's growing up a couple little sprouts. So at least 2 of them that started dying back started growing over here. 1 more over there in that pot. Very cool. And then like this guy that's almost 2 foot tall above the soil, he's actually got a couple little buds of new growth on him. So I'm pretty sure I'm starting off with a tree that's a couple feet tall. I'm just gonna let it get more established in the roots and we'll go from there. But this is exciting. These sticks, they cost me nothing. I just gave them the opportunity. But it's cool to think that even these ones that look dead now may grow from somewhere down beneath there. I'm not sure. I'm going to give them a chance before I rip them all out. The cool thing is, if you have patience, willing to wait like a half a year of your life, from the time you try something to the time you check back and make sure something's still going on, you could have success. I like success. I'm excited about this, and soon I hope to have a whole bunch more growing on our homestead. It's amazing that you can just do that from something you were going to cut off anyway. Got whole new trees from it. So hopefully that helps some of you guys out there. I'll see you next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Thumbs up. But well.
The cow head is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.